including one involving possible exposure on South Padre. You know, that's a pretty popular spot. But anyway, Texas has had 221 cases of mumps this year. Now, I want to tell you about this. Mumps. Let's talk about this. You know what the problem is here? I want to tell you the problem here. I think, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert by far, but could the problem be that you're just not out there getting your kid vaccinated? You know, this is a big kick here, you know. I get it. I totally understand. Could it be that it's these parents not getting their kids vaccinated anymore? I mean, you know, can't you opt out of getting vaccinations because mercury or whatever it is? You know, I don't know the whole argument, but I think you can. Yeah. And there's a whole rash of parents out there saying, well, I'm not going to get my kid vaccinated. Well, great. Now we got mumps coming back. Hey, how you like that crap? I don't know. I mean, you know, the state and regional health authorities are actually starting to investigate this outbreak throughout the state. Like I said, 221 cases of mumps. Mumps cases that are possibly linked to South Padre came from another state health department, which described a patient with mumps who had traveled to the area for spring break. That's on South Padre. Okay? So how do you even know if you have mumps? Check this out. Mump symptoms include swollen or tender salivary glands, swollen or tender testicles. Oh my God. Low fever, tiredness, and muscle aches. What, do I have a chronic case of the mumps? Is it chronic? Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, listen to this. Here's the kicker with this article. The mumps vaccine works best to keep people from getting mumps. Research shows that the vaccine protects 88% of people who are vaccinated. I thought this was just standard. But I don't know. I thought it was just standard to get your kid vaccinated. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So another week, another story. Here we go. Another week, another story. This time out of Briscoe, Texas, just down the road, right here in the Hill Country. We're going to talk about this too. Another week, another story of these inappropriate relationships between teachers and students. Briscoe Middle School counselor Lisa Rogers, this according to KXAN, has been arrested, accused by authorities of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. In a letter to parents, Superintendent Dr. John Buck Ford said the district was notified Tuesday evening that Rogers had been arrested. Now, he says there's an ongoing criminal investigation, and he wanted to reassure the parents that the safety and well-being of all our students remains our highest priority. According to Ford, the superintendent there, Rogers has been employed with the school district for 20 years. And they said that we believe that this time was an isolated incident, or they believe at this time it was an isolated incident. I don't know. I mean, have you noticed a demographic here? Have you noticed a demographic? I mean, I don't know. I just want to open this conversation about this. I mean, it seems like every week we're talking about another inappropriate relationship. And you know, there's been some legislation in the 85th legislature about this. There's been some talk about this, some big discussion about this, and increasing the penalties and making it tougher, and maybe creating a registry and all this. I mean, I think they already have to register as a sex offender, but I want to go back to this. I want to go back and I want to point something out here. And a lot of people aren't going to talk about this, but I'm going to go there. What if this kid is lying? What if this kid is lying? I mean, I'm not saying he or she is. Okay, now we have this whole story out there in the news media that we're talking about, and I'm guilty of it too because I'm talking about it. But ultimately, what if this story was just totally made up? They arrested this woman, booked her into jail. Now we have her mugshot and everything else. We just wrote this lady's life, even if she's not convicted. We just wrote this lady's life. Now, the argument will be made that she'll be able to come back to work and all this and that. Okay, great. I promise you this, even if she is not convicted, and Blanco ISD offers to give her job back and all this and that, she will not be accepted in Blanco ISD. I promise you. I guarantee it. Even if she is found totally innocent. Let's say the kid comes out and says, you know what, I lied about this. This didn't happen. Guess what? Now we have all these stories and stuff on Google and everything else, and the lady is now marked. Okay? You know, again, there's two sides to every story, right? Two sides to every story. Let's be fair and impartial. Let's talk about this. Okay, it happened. Horrible. If it did happen. If it didn't, it's an even bigger, it's a big controversy if it didn't happen. Because now all this crap that we talk about in the media is very hard to go back and reverse. Think about it. Think about that. I mean, it could be. Now, of course, the district is saying, this is an ongoing investigation. The district is staying pretty mum about it, and they're not saying how long the relationship was going on. And we just don't know all the facts. But I can promise you this. Minds are closed. Minds have closed. And we hear this talk. Ken Paxton, Attorney General, talking about, moving your trial, tainting a jury pool. Well, let's just say, out of all fairness, could the teacher ever get a fair trial in Blanco County? I don't know. I mean, could she get a fair trial anywhere? But now, if it did happen, I back this legislation up that's in the legislature this year, that she ought to be punished by the full extent of the law. I mean, I back that up 100%. I'm with you. I mean, throw the book at her. I mean, absolutely. Throw the book at her, slam the door, kick her ass out on the, concrete, whatever you got to do. Lock her up. I mean, it's atrocious. But remember, there's two sides here. Two sides to every door. Let's talk about that. All right, we'll be right back. Talk to you in a minute.
This old porch is just a big old red and white Hereford bull standing under a mesquite tree. Nowadays to Texas, he just keeps on playing hide and seek with that hot August sun. He's sweating and a panting, 'cause his work is never done.
You say you wanna start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving, but if you wanna leave, take good care.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good bumper song for this segment, huh? It's a wild world, huh? Yeah. I like the original version by Cat Stevens. That was a good one. Yesterday, Senate District 24 Senator Dawn Buckingham got her freshman bill passed through, And this bill is for property owners who believe that the appraisal district has overappraised their property. They now have the option of protesting this assessment before their local appraisal review board. However, the current protest system is unfairly biased in favor of appraisal districts. No. You're kidding. Senate Bill, was it 1776? The committee substitute for Senate Bill 1776 by Buckingham, our friend, State Senator Don Buckingham. This bill says many property owners are currently discouraged from protesting their assessment for fear that an appraisal review board could increase the assessed value of their property during the protest hearing. This is a fundamentally flawed and comparable to contesting a speeding ticket and then having the speed alleged to be driven further increased by the court. Wow. The bill goes on to say, moreover, the current procedure of protest hearing prevents property owners from having an informed opportunity to protest their assessment. Buckingham says complicated and complex codes and values provided to property owners before a protest hearing to do little to empower those who protest to have a fair chance to pursue the appraisal review board that their property was incorrectly assessed. Senate Bill 1767 seeks to provide protections for property owners who choose to protest their assessments by preventing additional increases in assessments without consent and guaranteeing an opportunity to respond to the evidence used to determine the value of their property. Good bill. This bill passed, moves on to the House now, right? It is a win-win for Texas property owners who have seen their property tax values increase and increase and increase and increase and increase until no end. And the appraisal review board just, I don't know, it probably does very little that these people are going to listen to you. Would you listen to a property owner if you were on the review board? Hell no. Hell no, these people aren't going to do that. But it does level the playing field. It's a win-win. The bill also seeks to remedy the inherent advantage currently held by the appraisal district by providing a protester with the option to present his or her evidence and argument before, after, or between the cases presented by the chief appraiser and each taxing unit. Now, she got some support on this bill from none other than Houston area Senator Paul Bentoncourt. For those of you who lived in Houston, for those of you who follow Texas politics, Paul Bentoncourt used to be a tax assessor. He was a tax assessor for Harris County. He supported this bill. I think Paul Bentoncourt realizes that the appeals process is a little unfair. Now, it amends current law relating to hearings and protests before appraisal review boards involving these tax determinations. Okay? Now, I think it's a pretty good bill, and it's a win-win for Texans. So, really proud of our Senate District 24 Senator Dawn Buckingham for getting her freshman bill passed. Yesterday, for folks in the gallery yesterday, you probably saw her getting hazed a little bit. Okay? Let me explain to you this. Okay? For those of you, a couple of people sent me some emails saying, what in the world is happening? when I think Senator Seliger got up and wanted to call for a point of order, and of course Dan Patrick shot it down, and whole 9 yards. There was some hazing going on yesterday. Okay? The reason they do that is it's kind of like a rite of passage. Okay? Every freshman senator on their new bill gets it. It's like kind of like going into college. You know, you're gonna get your chops busted, right?